This is Shannon Johns, Director of Buffalo Breastfeeding Sisters. And Shannon, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us all about what you do in the wonderful world of maternal health and breastfeeding?
Absolutely. So my name is Shannon Johns. I am the owner of Calming Nature Doula Services and Center, and additionally the director for our Buffalo's Breastfeeding Sisters program.
My name is Corinne Jackson. I'm a new mom.
I am a breastfeeding enthusiast.
Say hi, Selena.
So Buffalo's Breastfeeding Sisters got started from the need of our women in our community with support around breastfeeding.
Breastfeeding has been a journey for us, for sure.
I'm talking about you.
The program was put in place to assist those mothers within the ferry corridor with assistance around breastfeeding and lactation.
It was almost like something that was secret for so long, and now we just out with our boobs out like, yes, I am breastfeeding my big old 2-year-old.
A lot of women are not encouraged. They are discouraged, and they're given all types of reasons to be discouraged from breastfeeding. And if you have enough people telling you no, 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 you think that that's the route that you should go. And it isn't always the route for all moms.
So I learned about the benefits of it. So learning that, my breast milk can protect my baby from getting sick and even the bond we have is amazing. So learning that, I could just put her on and she could just latch and I don't have to carry around the bottle and formula and I could just bond with my baby in that way. I love that.
Well, I didn't want to put artificial things into my body. So I knew for sure I didn't want to put things that were not good for my baby either.
I don't think that I had like the knowledge or the courage as a younger mother to breastfeed. My sister-in-law had my niece, Egypt, who is a year older than KJ, and she breastfed. And it was kind of like a competition thing. Oh, she did it, so I know I can. I learned about breastfeeding like in depth during my doula trainings. And so during my first training, one of the other doulas was like, she brought her infant and she was breastfeeding. And I was like fascinated with it. Fast forward a year later, my cousin has a baby and she's breastfeeding. And I just love like watching her breastfeed her baby. It was like the most amazing thing. And like at that moment, I was like, if I ever have a baby, like another baby, I'm going to breastfeed.
So I guess with my son, I came out with the same goal, like I'm going to be exclusive, but I really wasn't very informed about the nuances of breastfeeding. The idea of me exclusive feeding was not really going well with family. And so I kind of like caved into pressure with him and just ended up supplementing. And so this time around, I made it a point to take a class before I had the baby. And I was really big about kind of like isolating myself from the noise of like, you need to do this, you need to do that when it comes to breastfeeding.
I live like a mostly plant-based lifestyle, and I didn't want to give her any type of, milk formula, cow's milk formula. So I knew this would be the best for her in regards to like her nutrition, the whole emotional aspect of it, the bonding. Moms are really the baby's home. They live there for almost 10 months, and just having that aspect of home and being able to help them adjust to this new world that they're in, like that all plays a part in it.
So outside of Buffalo's Breastfeeding Sisters, I am also a mom of 6, nursed all my children. So I breastfed all 6 of the children. And my breastfeeding journey started when I gave birth to my oldest, and the nurse asked if I was breastfeeding or bottle, and I just said breast. No particular reason why, but I was very young. I was a teen mom when I gave birth to him, so I didn't nurse very long. And then very shortly after, I gave birth to my second child, my daughter, who happened to be a preemie. And when she was in the NICU, the nurse in the NICU said that she kind of asked, is like, you're breastfeeding, right? She didn't ask about the bottle. And I just said, yeah, I was probably gonna, breastfeed. And she says, okay, good. She's like, because if you don't breastfeed, she's not gonna survive. She won't make it, she's gonna die. So of course that literally scared the lights out of me. So I nursed her for significantly longer than I nursed my son. And that child I nursed for about 18 months. And then my other children, additionally, I just breastfed all of them since that point.
I had heard different things, so I went in a little questioning. I was aware of some things possibly, but right away the nursing team was very supportive. It was basically like, hey, here's your baby, you ready to feed him? And it was go time as far as breastfeeding. I have several friends who breastfed. My mom breastfed, so I was familiar with the concept. I really never questioned how we were going to go about our journey as far as like what we were going to do. I was all in the groups, every group, asking all the questions, reading all the blogs.
So with my son, because he was a preemie, he had to be in a NICU and things of that nature. So when I first had him, they encouraged me to breastfeed, pump. So I did that. I wasn't able to directly put him on the boob, which kind of was a bummer for me. But then this time when I had my daughter, I was really adamant. I'm like, no, I'm going to breastfeed. I plan on doing it. If you don't like it, don't be around me. I don't care. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. And this is what it is.
I would say initially something I wish I would have knew is that at first it's going to be hard. There's so many different dynamics that you don't know prior to it. I wish somebody would have said, that, it's not going to be how you expect it, or when you feel like latching her that she's going to want to eat, it's on her time.
You know what? I really think that the lifestyle commitment, I don't know that we talk enough about how much of a commitment it is.
I think with anything, there was a learning curve. Like I knew how to do it mechanically, but actually doing it, it was like, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I wish I would have been prepared beforehand with how much, you sometimes just have to build yourself up to do it. And like, sometimes you're your own cheerleader. Like that part, I wasn't really prepared for.
Similar to what I said at the beginning, just kind of knowing that there are resources out there. Like I didn't know that insurance would cover breastfeeding classes, or, I think the first time around I did know about the pump, but we ended up buying a pump in advance before I knew insurance covered the pump. So just kind of trying to do some research, asking questions, and if you can connect with other people who've been there, done that.
I wish I knew that it didn't come as natural as I thought it would, be. Honestly, from the beginning, it was tough because she wasn't latching properly. So I think that just having the education prior to trying to breastfeed would have helped out a lot.
Oh my goodness. So I wish I knew that it was normal to feel overwhelmed and kind of crazy during that time where you're trying to nurse and get yourself back together, because it goes hand in hand. So this, honestly, I wish that I wasn't so hard on myself, and I probably would have saved myself a lot more tears.
The first week it was a little challenging because it was new and I had never breastfed a baby before. It is a change from formula fed babies to a breastfed baby.
Just trying to get her to get on the bottom. From breast to bottom, that's the only thing.
My biggest challenge was I had mastitis with my 6. And I'm thinking, I breastfed 5 other children before this. Why do I have mastitis now? And it took me a long time to go and ask for help.
I didn't have anybody to ask questions to because everyone in my family, nobody really breastfed. And so, of course, I'm one of the first, and coming around, not necessarily having the support. You hear a lot of really negative things about breastfeeding from just ignorance, just not knowing. I really had to kind of dig my heels when nursing my children, because you would hear a lot you making the baby spoiled, or that's really nasty, little things like that. And you really just have to be strong enough to say, well, no, you have the issue and I do not, and I'll keep breastfeeding my baby.
In the beginning, it was very stressful. So my milk didn't come in until about like 4 days after I had her. So the doctors were telling me like, you need to supplement with formula. And that was very stressful to me because I just wanted to exclusively breastfeed. So I was like, well, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And, you know, it's different because no one in my family, in my immediate family, like my mom didn't breastfeed or my grandma didn't breastfeed. So it was just like, or it was no one close to me at the moment that breastfed. So it was, everybody was just like, oh, go ahead and do formula. So that was hard at first. And I was like, no, I want to do this.
I never thought that I would make it almost 2 years. Like, this is shocking and amazing for me. Like, you think about like, oh, you're gonna breastfeed that baby forever. And it's like, yes, I am, yes. Like, I have this confidence about it now. It's like, absolutely, like I'll breastfeed your baby too.
I would say my biggest success was my youngest. I nursed him until maybe a couple days before his 2nd birthday. So he was the longest one that I breastfed. And I think that was probably one of the biggest things that I was really proud of, is that I kept nursing him until the point where I was comfortable enough on my own to stop nursing and didn't have to, in a sense, worry about pumping while I was at work, carrying around a breast pump, hand expressing in an office. And my kids are, my youngest is 9, so the other ones are teenagers and some are in their 20s. But with them, it was like I had to pump in a bathroom. I had to pump, in just a regular office with the light off so no one could see in the office. So it didn't have, the state and the federal laws weren't in place at that time to kind of have that protection for moms that are breastfeeding as they are now.
She now doesn't even need me. She just goes down there, latch on herself, and gets it herself.
The success is just the whole bonding experience. It's just a beautiful experience to be able to bond with her in that way, and to know that I'm providing the best, nutritional thing for her and myself.
Don't worry about like what other people are saying. Like just make your mind up and do it and try it. And I think also to find somebody else who's breastfeeding that you can talk to too. Because I think sometimes people who didn't breastfeed have like a different point of view. So find somebody who did it and just make them your tribe, because it's really an amazing experience, but you gotta fully commit to it.
So first, join a peer group program, because there is support for breastfeeding moms now, and to take it day by day. It's a small challenge, but it really can be accomplished if you look to, I need to feed the baby today, then it makes it easier than maybe thinking long term. So set small goals and start slow.
I think that confidence that you can provide for your child, and like it's enough. I know that there are probably, there's outliers and whatnot, but honestly, I was worried, okay, is she getting enough? But then once you learn, okay, this is a number of diapers that, you should be seeing, and that, if things are the right consistency, then she's okay. If she doesn't seem like she's disgruntled, there's no like sunken eyelids, etc. The baby's getting what they're supposed to be getting from you. And that just kind of gaining that confidence of like, I can provide for my child. And what I'm providing for her is the best that I can, like, it's the best. There's nothing else that artificially made that can, challenge this essentially.
It may not come as natural as you think. So just having because I feel like when it comes to breastfeeding, everyone's like, oh, like it's going to be something easy. But it really is challenging, because you're really learning and your baby is learning. So I would just say having the patience to stick it out, because it may not be what you think it's going to be starting out.
I think the biggest thing that was helpful Two is I sought out moms who had gone a further distance than me. Like I knew I had a Facebook friend who had breastfed her son till he was like 4. So I did politely slide in the messenger and I was like, girl, tell me how you did it. What was your setup? One thing for me is information is key. I ask all the questions.
Just to stick with it, because it is hard, like especially with my baby not wanting to take the bottle, but don't give up. It's the best thing that you can actually do.
Even though I was confident, like I had a high level of confidence, I still was a little doubtful. So I had formula, but she didn't take it, and I was happy because I'm like, that gave me more confidence to know that she don't want this formula. So you gotta do what you have to do to make sure she's eating. And then you go to the doctor, and they're like, oh, like when she was first born, they was like, oh, she lost too much weight in the first week, so definitely give her the formula. And I was like, no, I'm gonna give her this booby milk. Like she's gonna get this booby milk and she was gonna get good. So then we went back and then she gained all the weight she needed. And he was like, oh, you gave her the formula. I said, no, I was strictly giving her booby milk. And he was just like, oh, okay. He was like, I don't know what it was. I'm like, see, they be so quick to say, oh, they're not eating enough to give formula. Not just giving the bodies takes time. Like it takes time to just get to where you need to be. You can't rush it.
I looked at it as a revolutionary action, honestly, because I know that my foremothers and women before me, they were robbed of the opportunity to freely feed their children. They were called upon to be responsible for the children of their oppressors. And for me, I really looked at breastfeeding as a responsibility culturally and naturally.
You don't even have to join a physical support group. Like Facebook has tons of like Black breastfeeding support groups that I've joined. And a lot of them, if you read the description, you get an idea of kind of like what their philosophies are. So if you are thinking like, I want to do this, but I might want to supplement, that's okay. Like you don't have to come into it right off the bat, like I need to be exclusive and have these rigid expectations for yourself if that's not what you want. So I think setting what your particular goal is going to be and then aligning yourself with the information and like potential support that would go along with that.
The health benefits, like our numbers are pretty poor across the board. This is just one way of ensuring that you are reaping the benefits of something very natural. You can cut down your risk of breast cancer, ovarian cancer, especially in a little girl. And then, hypertension, high blood pressure, all of those different things. Like you regulate so much when you do things naturally. So I would want everyone to know the benefits, but especially Black women, because our numbers are so poor in the health department.
Forget them people. Feed your baby. And number 3, you are amazing. You are beautiful. And what? People always say like, oh, happy baby, happy mommy.
Happy mommy.
Happy mommy. A happy baby is a baby that has a happy, whole, confident mom. And
Yes.
keep around you people that are gonna make sure that you are in fact that. And if you don't have it in your family, biologically, there is a whole network of women who wanna lift you up. And you might be surprised there are men out there.
I would say join it because we don't just talk about breastfeeding all the time. It's sometimes where you just need that support. I am a first-time mom, so sometimes I just need somebody who's going through it as well to say, you can get through it this week, or hey, I'm going through this. Has any other moms gone through that?
It's just a sisterhood. Like, not only do we talk about breastfeeding stuff, we talk about personal stuff. It's like the togetherness. Nobody judge nobody. You can just be yourself there. And they all have good advice and willing to help.
So just having other women who either are right where you're at, or they may be past that and they can tell you it's going to be okay, or like, yes, I'm right there with you, I'm not sleeping either. So just that camaraderie, it's really great to have that.
It's just like sitting around your sisters, just sitting around with your sisters, your girlfriends, and just really having kind of an intimate time with them, having those conversations to say, I think I need help, or I have a tip for you, or I was up at 1 o'clock this morning and so-and-so was up at the same time. or just even sending out, just messages, whereas one mom may need support in one area and another mom just came out of that area and was successful with it. So now she's encouraging her.
That has really kept me going. It's been my saving grace, because there's been plenty of times I wanted to give up, plenty of times.
For me, I've benefited because I get to help moms actually accomplish their goal of breastfeeding. And a lot of moms do have that intention when they're pregnant. I'm definitely going to breastfeed. I plan to breastfeed for a year. I plan to breastfeed for 2 years. I plan to breastfeed for 6 months, whatever their goal is. And then once they get to that point where they see that they've actually met their goal, they're excited, they're ecstatic. And a lot of moms exceed their goal. And that makes me happy. That makes me smile. And you can see their level of excitement and confidence that they have, and just that overall just happiness within themselves that they actually did have a successful journey with breastfeeding.
There's a mom who's watching this documentary. She's rubbing her belly and she's thinking about breastfeeding, but she's not 100%. So what is the biggest or number one thing that you would want her to be aware of, to consider?
You can do this. That's the biggest thing. You can do it. You have the ability to do it. You just need the confidence in yourself to do it and the follow through. That's it. If you believe you can do it, then you can do it. And if you have difficulties, there is help available. Ask for help. There is a number of women that are available to help and assist, but there are also two peers, our support group. That's what we're here specifically for. You have a ton of sisters around you, encouraging you, motivating you, educating you, and really giving you that push to say, you can do this, you got this, you're capable, and you're doing everything right. For any mothers that are interested in participating in our Buffalo's Breastfeeding Sisters program, please visit us at calmingnaturedoula.com or give us a call directly at 716-768-4758.